In this video, I'm going to give you a few pointers that will help you get started with RSX. First, before you try building a project, you should watch the basic tutorial video. It's only 3 minutes long, and it provides a good overview of RSX. The second thing you should do is look at the 2 pre-built projects that we've created for you. You can find these by going to the Start page and clicking on the button to select an existing project. Here you can find 2 projects. The project called Sample Project Journal extracts data from an academic journal. If you open that project by clicking on its name, you'll see the finished project, which is designed to extract data from the Journal of Artificial Intelligence Research, also called JAIR or JAIR. On the initial page, you'll see the crawler settings we used. In particular, we provided a starting URL for the crawler, which is jair.infralink.com. We recommend that you open that page in your browser and browse through the site. Essentially, we created our own copy of this real journal in jair.infralink.com so that you can run the RSX crawler on it as many times as you want. You'll see that for each of the articles in the journal, there is a page listing the title, authors, abstract, and so on. In this project, these are the types of pages we want to extract from, that is, our target pages. Each of these target pages has the same formatting, which makes it possible for RSX to recognize and extract the data fields. Returning to RSX, you'll also see other settings we used when we kicked off the harvesting process, including some advanced settings to direct the crawler to exactly the target pages we were interested in. Using these settings can be useful because crawling can take time and resources, and you'll find that it's helpful to limit the number of pages that are collected. You can find help on how to use these settings in the FAQ. Next, if you click on Step 2, the clustering step, you'll see that RSX took all the pages it collected and grouped them into 2 clusters. We selected the first cluster because it contains our target pages, while the second cluster contains a bunch of other pages that were crawled. If we had crawled the site more broadly, there would be additional clusters, but here things are nice and simple. Moving to Step 3, we see all the extracted data from the selected cluster. Each row contains the data extracted from a page. Notice that we selected certain columns of interest. These will be the ones that are delivered. We also renamed these columns because RSX doesn't always guess good column names. Moving to the delivery step, here you can download the data RSX collected. Just click on the Download button. You can experiment with this sample project to get a sense of how the system works. For instance, you can select different columns or try the advanced settings. You can also go back to the harvest stage, adjust the parameters and ask the system to crawl the site again, and look at the new data it brings back. Once you've finished experimenting, we'd also suggest you look briefly at the second project, which has a somewhat ungainly name, Sample Project 1 Page List. This is even a simpler project, however, where we just collected one page from a site called Goodreads that has a list of favorite books. This project illustrates that RSX can be used to pull out data from lists and tables on a single target page. As long as the data is consistently formatted, RSX will recognize any repeated structure. Now you're ready to build your first project. To begin with, choose a site. Think about the data you want to extract from that site and whether the data is present on pages that have similar formatting. While RSX is a powerful tool for extracting data, it's important to recognize that it only works if the target pages have a template-like structure. Once you click on the Create Project button, you'll need to select amongst 3 alternatives. If the data is in a list or a table on a single page, select that alternative. If the data is on several target pages, you can simply enter their URLs and the system will get the pages for you. If there are lots of target pages, then you'll want RSX to crawl the site. In this case, we have some hints to improve the odds of successful crawling. First, try to limit the crawl to just the pages you need. Otherwise, the process can take a lot of time, and it's harder to figure out what went wrong if you don't get the results you'd hoped for. One way to do this is to pick a starting page that is just 1 or 2 clicks away from your target pages, and set the depth limit to 1 or 2 accordingly. Second, we do strongly suggest you enter some sample target pages that will help guide the learning system. Once you kick off your crawl, the system will send you mail when it's done, so no need to sit around. When you come back, you can click on Step 2 to see how the pages were clustered. If you entered the URLs yourself, then there will be just one cluster. If you had the system crawl the site, then you'll need to make sure that the selected cluster has all your target pages. But if you find that your target pages are spread out in multiple clusters, or you find fewer target pages than you expected, then see the FAQ or the videos on crawling and clustering, which explain how to fix these sort of problems. When you go to the next tab to review your data, ideally, you'll see all the columns that you expect, and probably a bunch more that you might not need. You should select the fields that you want to keep, and you can also rename them if you want to. If you don't see the data that you expected here, then it means there was an extraction problem, and we have a lot of guidance in the FAQ, as well as advanced videos, that explain how you can fix such problems. Finally, on the last tab, you can download your data. There are also a lot of options here for formatting the data, cleaning it, and creating data feeds. So if you're interested in any of this, again, please look at the FAQ and the advanced videos.